Hi everybody, this is Reza with Captain's Aviation. I'm going to do multiple setup videos for PowerBoxiGyro. It's past due actually. Got this product Jonel 2012 and been a hectic time ever since I came back at work and with other things going on. I haven't had a chance to really cover this. Anyhow, a lot of you guys may already have one of these and set up and going. This video would be probably for those who are interested in the product and want to see how it works. This is one of those products that you definitely need to understand how it works, and you have to read every single page of the manual and try to make sense of it. The manual is actually pretty thorough, but you have to really accurately read it. It's one of those things that you can't just take it and say, I'm going to figure it out. It's a 3-axis gyro. It uses an optional GPS. So basically it would try to adjust for your elevator, aileron, and rudder. And the optional GPS is picking up your speed at 2 hertz, basically 2 times per second, and it will adjust your already adjusted gain. So regular gyros, they don't have this additional GPS input. What they have is just a gain. Therefore, if you are speeding up or you're doing something out of the range that you set the gain for, you would have oscillation and things like that, where this one tries to actually solve that problem with the GPS sensor. This gyro, and I'm going to cover this for Spectrum radio or JR because that's what I know. Futaba, it works with Futaba and other radios, I assume, but I'm not just going to go into details with those. With the Spectrum JR radio, this gyro has 5 channels. If your airplane, like this airplane, has 5 channels, you will not need an additional receiver. All you need is remote receivers. So you connect 2 or 3 remote receivers and you bind it. It has 2 aileron input, 2 elevator input, and 1 rudder input. And later on I will get the video and show the features on the iGyro itself. So this airplane has 2 aileron, 1 per wing, and 1 for elevator and 1 for rudder. So I have 1 extra channel that I'm not using. So basically this is a 4-channel plane. What I can do is, instead of using, let's say, my second elevator, I can attach connect my throttle servo to iGyro and map that channel that basically is the throttle channel. So in this case it will be channel 1. It has a lot of mapping features. You basically have the flexibility of saying, okay, my aileron is channel so and so on my radio, so you match it. That's what it says when it says it maps it. I'm sorry. That's what it means when it says mapping in the manual. So for a Spectrum receiver or for a Spectrum JR radio, this will give you two options: the DSM2 or DSMX binding, and you will select that and you bind it to appropriate modulation that you have. Let me see here. I just want to cover the very basics in one video, and we go through the features in a second video because otherwise it will be a very long video. One thing you need to understand is the gyro has 3 settings, or basically 2 settings. You have an off gyro. If you count that as a setting, that will be 3 settings. You have a normal heading, and you have a normal and a heading mode. So you have a normal mode, heading mode, and an off. When you put it in off, everything should basically work as a regular plane with absolutely no correction from the gyro. When you put it in the normal mode would adjust for gust of wind. So if you're in normal mode and you're flying level and it's windy or it's gusty and the plane wants to basically go up and down or wobble, the gyro will react to it and try to keep it in the same line. When you go to heading mode, it actually, like for example, as a good example for heading would be a knife edge. It will compensate for your elevator correction. So when you put the plane into knife edge, the plane has a tendency to either go to the canopy or to the landing gear, or you have a mix. This will take care of it without you having to adjust for the elevator. You just have to go to heading mode and you fly, you just give it rudder input, and it will keep the plane in a straight line. Now you got to remember, you cannot have any mixes. So when you have your gyro active, either normal or heading mode, you cannot have any mixes in the radio, because otherwise it'll be trying to compensate both ways and it just won't work. So that's for that. You know, it's pretty simple, and if you want to come for landing, once you have everything set up, when you come for landing, you can actually come in a normal mode and land. Otherwise, you know, you can just turn it off and just land. This becomes really handy for a lot of people in jets and the sports flyers, or the guys that want to learn 3D. This is a fixed wing 3-axis gyro. So, you know, for those of us who need help with maybe a little bit of assistance wanting to learn 3D, actually, this might be an advantage. It might be something to help you to get there. For the jet guys, you know, they use it because, you know, especially if they have thrust vectoring jets, they probably can use this a lot more than the regular aerobatic sport flyers. In fact, I have had a lot of questions coming from the jet market. One of them was asking, hey, I can't hold my plane when taking off. I can't hold it straight. I always overcorrect with the nose gear, and you know, I have a tendency to veer off the runway or go back. Would this gyro be able to help me? Of course. You know, instead of connecting your rudder, just connect your nose gear and take off on a normal mode, and it should, you know, keep your plane straight. So that's for that. As far as how long it takes to set it up, like I said, I'm just giving you basic, very general information. You would it would take 3 flights for you to set the iGyro completely up. So you need 1 flight per surface, and in each flight you will need to adjust both normal and heading mode. So what happens is, I'll go through in details about this, but what happens, you know, basically is you adjust 1 surface at a time. You put the gain for the other surfaces you haven't adjusted yet, 0, and then you go up. Let's say you want to adjust your aileron, and you go up. You have 2 switches, 1 for each mode, 1 for normal mode and 1 for heading mode. So when you are in normal mode, the switch or the slider that adjusts the gain for the normal mode, you will adjust that until you see a little bit of oscillation in the model, and when you see that, you reduce that gain or the slider until the oscillation is gone away. So you do that in multiple speeds. Once you have it, you know, you're happy with the results, then you'll, you know, basically go to heading mode, and you try to adjust for the heading mode. Once you come down and you land, you go to the iGyro settings, you save those settings, and you move on to the next surface. And so basically it takes 3 flights, but you know, you'll need to adjust for both, you know, the heading and the normal mode. And every time, you know, anytime you feel uncomfortable, just turn it off. Now, it is very important for you to understand these things before you take off. This is one of those things, if you don't understand it and you take off and you kind of have some unexpected situations in the air, you don't know what to do, you can crash a model over it. So make sure everything works properly, especially the direction of the control surfaces. That's something that you need to set up on the ground, and that's very easy. You know, you'll need to make sure that your gyro is, you know, responding rationally to what needs to happen in the air. So if you're picking up the tail right here, basically you're going nose down, the gyro has to, you know, counteract that by giving you a little bit of up elevator. You check all those things on the ground, and it's very simple. Just pick up your tail and see if the gyro is, you know, giving you up elevator for that. Well, like I said, we'll get to those steps in details. Now, I'm just going to go over the features really quickly. I'm going to grab the camera, go over the features, and just show you the features before we go to the setup video, and then we'll have a flight video. So with that said, let me go over the features on the gyro itself. Okay, so this is the iGyro. For electric plane, before I forget, it's okay to Velcro it down. I have it Velcroed down. It's better to have it strapped down so you don't have much movement. If it's a gas plane, you definitely want to have it strapped down. You don't want it to wobble a lot, because when this gyro moves, that's where you get, you know, basically responses from the gyro to your servos. Okay, you turn it on. This sensor switch controls the menu. Once you set it up and you're done, you just take it off and you're done. So to move through the menus, or to get into the menus, you use the set button. Here we go. With the 1 and 2, you go up and down, and when you want to select, you basically press the set button again. So let's go here. We have 0 gyro. That's when you want to reset the gyro. We have gyro settings. I'm going to get to that later on. Airspeed settings. We're going to get to that in basically in the detailed setup video. The input mapping is what you need to set up your airplane. And it's very important. It's one of those very early stage things that you need to know. So here we go. It says aileron A, aileron B, elevator A, elevator B, and rudder. So basically it's asking you what channel is your aileron A, and you would say, okay, my aileron A might be the right wing is in channel 2, and my left wing servo is on channel 6. So you basically you change these numbers. Let me see, I got out of focus for a little. Okay, here we go. I can't do that, I guess. And it's probably good enough from here. I don't have to zoom in further. Alright, so this is what it means. Select the channel for that surface. And in case you have more than 5 channels, that is very likely, you will have to have other channels going through extra receiver, and then you bind them together. So you will have a separate receiver next to iGyro, if you carry more than 5 channels. Alright, so that's pretty much it. So let's go down. The normal gain and heading gain, that's the 2 mode I was talking about and I referred to. So we're going to cover those later on again. And the normal gain and heading gain is for, you know, both surfaces, elevator A and elevator B. In this case, for example, elevator A, I have only 1 elevator servo. My elevator B, even when I do adjust, it will stay 0. When you adjust these things, those numbers do change. We're going to get to that later on, so I'm not going to get into details. Okay, and the flight mode. The flight mode is, you know, again, that's something for you to assign to which channel is your flight mode. Basically your flight mode switch. That could be, you know, like aux3, aux4, and that would translate to a channel. Okay, so that's for that. General settings and receiver settings. Let's go to receiver settings. That's where you have to actually start binding all that stuff. So for a Spectrum or JR, DSM2 and DSMX, as you can see, that little dot over there is not solid. It becomes solid when you select it. So I'm running DSMX. I'm going to say select DSMX. You see that little dot became solid. Then you go to binding and you press binding. It says turn power off. So you turn off. It doesn't have a you know, a little plug like a regular Spectrum and JR. So we just turn it off. The next time you turn it on, it'll automatically go into the bind mode. Alright, now on the screen it shows the temperature, it shows what flight mode, and it says GPS searching. When it finds the GPS, it'll say, I guess, in use. We'll wait until it finds where, you know, I'm indoor, so I'm not sure if it's going to find the GPS. If I was outdoor, it would be a different story. So this is the very first step for you. You can lift up that button. Okay, let's see. That should cover video 1, and then I'll go into more details for video 2.